Chapter 1 22 Days Until Christmas. Lucy was shivering when she walked through the front door of her family's old Victorian house. Her fingers, icicles in the thick woolen gloves that she had knit for herself back in the fall. Though December in Pine River was always frigid, by now Lucy was used to it and knew to wear 3 layers, to always keep a hat pulled over her ears, and to walk fast. It was the last part that was the problem, though. Valentine could not walk fast, and that meant that Lucy, who relied on the seeing-eye dog to guide her wherever she needed to go, could not walk fast either. Her parents had given Valentine to Lucy 2 years ago, on her 9th birthday. Her birthday was actually in May, but Valentine felt like the perfect name for the dog who had filled Lucy's heart. From the moment Lucy had first touched Valentine's velvety fur, feeling her new dog sniff her hand and then give it an affectionate snuzzle, Lucy had loved Valentine. Valentine was Lucy's independence, the ability to walk places on her own, to get through the halls of her school without worrying about stabbing someone in the shin with her walking stick. But Valentine was more than Lucy's ticket to freedom. Lucy knew it was silly, but she secretly felt that Valentine was her best friend, the one that she could tell anything, and the one who was always there for her. And now the way things were with her parents, the heavy silence from her normally too chatty dad, the way her mother snapped over the tiniest things, the cloud of tension that had moved into the house like an unwanted house guest. Well, now Lucy needed Valentine more than ever, which is why it broke Lucy's heart that she couldn't be there for Valentine, not in the way her beloved dog needed. "Lucy, hi! I didn't hear you come in," her dad said. He'd lost his job as an architect 7 months ago, but it still felt weird to have him there when she got home in the afternoon. His steps were muffled as he walked into the front hall. He was probably wearing his old leather slippers that softened the sound of his steps on the hardwood floors. There were no rugs in the house because rugs could be a tripping hazard for a girl who could not see. "Hi, Dad," Lucy said, trying to sound cheerful. "How was your day, sweetness?" he asked, gently rubbing her hair as she unlaced her boots. Sweetness was the nickname her parents had given her when they adopted her from China 10 years before, when her birth mother had left her on the steps of a hospital under the cover of night. She had wrapped infant Lucy in a blanket, set her in a box, and put a sugared orange next to her. The woman at the orphanage had explained to Lucy's parents that this meant she wished a life filled with good fortune and sweetness for her daughter, despite being unable to keep her. And Lucy's life had been sweet, mostly. "It was a good day," Lucy said, searching for something interesting to tell her dad. "I think I did well on my quiz in English. And the school is collecting donations for Max Callahan and his family. 4 weeks ago, Max, who was in the 6th grade, with Lucy at Pine River Middle School, had lost his home on Church Street in an electrical fire. I was thinking I could knit them a couple of scarves and maybe some hats, too." When Lucy was 5, her mom went on a kick to help Lucy find a hobby she could enjoy without her eyesight, and knitting was the one that had stuck. Her mother helped break down patterns and pick out colors, but Lucy's nimble fingers did the rest, turning out everything from gloves for her family to winter coats for Valentine. "I could even do gloves if Mom has a guess about what sizes might work." "Great idea," her father said, "and I might have a football laying around here somewhere that I could give to Max." "He plays, doesn't he?" "I think so," Lucy said. She and Max had a few classes together, but weren't friends. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen him out in Long Meadow Park with the flag team, her dad said. She heard the chair he was sitting on creak, and a moment later Valentine let out a contented sigh. Her dad was probably rubbing the dog's belly, something he adored. Lucy slid off her first boot, setting it carefully to the side of her seat so it wouldn't trip her when she stood up. Then she started on the second one. How's Valentine doing? Her dad asked suddenly. Her dad asked cautiously. Her parents loved Valentine almost as much as Lucy did, which was part of what was making it all so hard. Okay, I think, Lucy lied. Valentine was anything but okay. Did she slow you down? No, it was fine. Lucy worked to get the boot off so she could escape this conversation. If there was nothing they could do, then there was no point in discussing Valentine's symptoms and how they were worsening. Her dad was silent for a moment, and Lucy could hear that he had stopped petting Valentine. The boot was off, and Lucy set it aside, then stood up. As she rose to her feet, she could hear Valentine struggling to stand. The dog loyal to Lucy even now. Sweetness, her dad said. Dad, I should start my homework, Lucy interrupted him, heading for the stairs that were a left turn and 10 steps from where she had taken off her boots. Sweetness, I'm so sorry, her dad said, the chair creaking slightly as he, too, stood. Dad, it's not your fault, Lucy said. Her father ruffled her hair again, then walked toward the kitchen with his slow, shuffling old man gait, while Lucy headed upstairs, waiting patiently for Valentine, who struggled to make it up the steps. Good girl, Lucy told her as they walked the 15 steps to Lucy's bedroom. For the past 2 years, she had not needed to know how many steps it was to anything, not when she had Valentine to guide her every move. But Lucy knew that she might need that information again, knowledge that twisted her chest into a tight knot. In her room, she heard Valentine pad over to her dog bed, the one her mother said was purple, and the perfect complement to Valentine's rich brown fur. The labels brown and purple were not something Lucy, who had been blind her entire life, could imagine. But the words, like so many others, had their own texture and tenor, and even their own taste in her mind. Purple was the sleekness of her satin bedspread, a low C ringing out from the piano, the soft sweetness of a banana. Brown was the warm down of her comforter, a bow drawn across the strings of a cello, the richness of chocolate-covered raisins. Usually these images and the familiar sound of Valentine circling before settling down in her bed calmed Lucy. But today calm was as far away as the place she had been born, and just as impossible to imagine. Because if something didn't change, and change fast, these sounds would become a memory as well. Because Valentine, her beloved helper and companion, and yes, her best friend, was dying, and her family did not have the money for the surgery and medication to save her. Valentine had cancer. Burrowed into her soft fur was a tumor that was going to spread if it wasn't treated and wasn't treated fast. The vet, Dr. Lazarus, had been very optimistic about Valentine's chances. The cancer had been detected early and it was curable with surgery and follow-up chemotherapy. If they moved fast, the vet was confident that Valentine could live a full, happy life. The problem, of course, was that surgery for a dog was expensive. Too expensive. Lucy's family simply did not have the thousands and thousands it would take to fully rid Valentine of the cancer, and so they were just treating the pain, hoping that the cancer would move slowly and Valentine could stay with them just a bit longer. In any other place, it would seem like a hopeless situation, but in the darkness of Lucy's deepest fears of losing her Valentine, there was a thin ray of hope, golden and bright, the angel tree. Lucy picked up the wish that she had already typed out with her voice-activated software and folded up tight, ready and waiting to be tied to one of the tiny branches of the tree. It would go up any day now, and when it did, Lucy was ready. She only hoped it wouldn't be too late.